Hello and welcome to the show. So today we are revisiting a challenge we did quite a few months ago, and that is the 200-mile-an-hour C-Class cars. Now, initially when the challenge was set, we thought it was impossible. We thought we would never get anywhere near it. However, when we sort of started trying, we got cars sort of in the 180s, which I think was pretty good for C-Class. However, we have now spent some stupid amount of time trying to get these blooming cars to 200 miles an hour. There are many cars to choose from, so we've been trying to find the most suitable cars, and thanks to someone who sent me a car as well, we think we have managed to come up with the fastest C-Class cars that you can get, and we're going to try and get them to 200 miles an hour, which is not easy. Now we start with the Chevel. Now as you can see, we are going to be cheating a little bit. Basically the fastest we've ever had any car on its own is 196. We'll get to that car in a minute. This Chevel does in the 180s, I can't remember exactly. So rather than just running the cars on their own, which we know it won't do, we are going to be slipstreaming, behind a variety of cars. We start off with slipstreaming behind the Porsche 962, I think that's the correct.
That's sad, but still,
there we go. Yeah, Daniel knows far more about me, far more about that car than me. So, yes, we're going to be trying to slipstream it. Now, as you can see, the Chevel is doing sort of okay. Now, this car has quite a number of problems. It has the Corvette ZR1 engine. The ZR1 engine fits with it still being in C-Class. You can then put either upgraded, or I think you can either put twin superchargers, or upgraded twin superchargers, or upgraded twin turbos. The problem is, if you put the twin turbos and the camshaft on it, you then don't have any PI left at all to put suspension on. Now this car needs race suspension. It is imperative that you have race suspension because otherwise it's uncontrollable. With the supercharger, you can have the camshaft and suspension is still keeping in C-Class, but it's not fast enough. That was one of the best runs I think we got out of this car, and it wasn't quite fast enough. With the turbochargers, if you could actually keep it in a straight line, it would probably do it, I think.
Yeah,
we had that to about 196.
It is just we were thinking about this, and this is the next car we did. I got lost for some reason, decided to start behind the car, which probably wasn't the best idea in the world. But this is the old Mustang. We're using the Porsche again, but we'll come back to using different cars later, and we'll tell you why. But yeah. This was slightly better at being controlled, Alex, do you reckon?
This is the 68 Shelby GT500. This is running standard again, suspension. It has got the engine from a Shelby Cobra, I believe. I can't remember what other engine upgrades went into it. This doesn't have racing suspension, however it is actually drivable. I mean, you will see as it goes down here, it sort of changes position. If you watch this camera, you see how much it's moving. I'm trying to keep it in a straight line. It's really not easy. As you can see, though, it's getting close. 193 already. 194. It's so close.
It was close
to the mark. This is there we go. 198 before the corner. And TJ came online. He was so excited. I didn't notice that was there before. Whoopsie. TJ was so excited that we were nearly getting to that speed. Yeah, so 198 on the first run with this car. That is very, very close.
That was impressive.
I would point out that this car on its own did 191 with a couple of runs I did with it. So we're going to go again. Now, it's kind of important to get a good run onto these straight from either side. That first attempt that you saw from me was a little bit all over the place. So yeah, it's very important to get a good run onto the straight, because while these cars are fast, they do take a lot of time to get up to their top speed. And while the Le Mans straight is the longest straight we have, they will still run out of straight if you
that was the problem with these cars, because of the fact that I think with the slipstream each car gained about 5 to 8 miles an hour, but then it was so difficult for me because each car was different at accelerating. It was so difficult for me to keep, because I was like getting closer, getting further away, and at one point we just started bumping each other, didn't we? And it was a bit.
Yeah, it's very tricky. Well, very tricky for both of us, to be fair. Daniel with the Porsche is having to sort of judge the speed of my car and change accordingly. As you see there, when the Shelby goes over a bump, it is a little bit awkward because it just sort of loses control, and then we're trying to find the slipstream again. However, we are nearly there. That's 199. We've nearly done it. That's 200. I paused the video.
We have done it.
There we go.
My video is frozen.
No, I paused the replay.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry.
So you could see.
Ignore that. Ignore that.
We hit 200 so briefly in that car. That was the best run we did. We couldn't get it to do that again. I will point out damage was only on cosmetic, so the fact that we smashed it into a wall doesn't matter. But it hit 200 very briefly. But
yes.
it did it. We did it.
So we have actually got a C-Class car to 200 miles an hour. That's impressive, actually.
That is very impressive. So, I then swapped cars. This is a car that was sent to me by Timo Shamu? I don't know. Look, I'm sorry, but your name is unpronounced. I don't. Yeah. He sent me this car. Benchmarked, it reckons it'll do 198. When you run it, sort of on its own, it did 196, I believe. It is already beaten 196 here. So now we are going to be slipstreaming behind the Hennessy. You fancied a change, so you got a different car, and there we go. That's 200 miles an hour as well. 201 and 2, and yeah, this was fairly straightforward. And this was going sort of the reverse down the straight. We've been that corner causes problems because yeah, these are essentially speedrun cars.
Are they?
No, handling parts are forsaken for a little bit of top speed.
No.
So you tend to go faster going the other way on the runs because you get the corner out of the way at a lower speed rather than trying to tackle it at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, but this was that was the problem for like most cars. This is the run going reverse, and obviously we got the corner out of the way earlier on, so it did quite help. Also, as you would have noticed, I'm using the Hennessy. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm using this, and it turned out that you'll probably see. I don't know whether we use the Porsche later on or something, but the Hennessy actually gave a better slipstream for the other cars. I don't know why, but it did, and I was surprised that Forza was that detailed. Well, we both were, weren't we?
Yeah, we'll get to it in a second because I believe there we go. That was another run again over 200 miles an hour for the Shelby. I will point out that actually that Shelby was running a 4-speed changeable gearbox, adjustable gearbox. I don't know how you do that. I've never used one of them before. That's quite impressive. Anyway, we move on to this. This is the Acura TSX. It's basically a Honda Accord with a different name. Now this is an interesting one. Out of all of the cars we have here, this has the highest sort of like speed number out of all the cars. This has 8.5 speed. Benchmarked, it reckons it will be about 196. So we're going to give this a go, and again, we are slipstreaming behind the Hennessy. Now we built 3 of these, I think.
Yeah.
The one that we're using here, which is my one, is the twin supercharged one. You had a twin turbocharged one.
Yeah.
I think there was a naturally aspirated one as well, of which all of them, the supercharged one is the fastest. And I have to say, in general, the superchargers were faster than the turbochargers.
Yeah.
I think it is probably to do with sort of the turbos. You have to be in the right gear at the right time with the turbo. You need to be high RPM. So with such the long gears that we have in these cars, it was taking such a long time for the turbos to actually kick in that they were never getting up to the top speeds that they would require.
It got around the corner.
With the Acura, the Acura is really nice handling compared to everything else that I drove. It drove in a straight line and got around the corner. It was lovely. Now, things got a bit interesting with this car. Okay, we did a couple of practice runs with it because we were trying to determine whose car was faster. And when we were slipstreaming, this car was doing 197, 198. On that first run with the Hennessy, you saw it wasn't really near that yet. It was about 194, which confused us as to why this car suddenly lost speed. So we thought, well, maybe we had a bad run onto the straight. I mean, as you saw, the Venom was behind me as we came onto the straight. So maybe it was just a little bit of a dodgy run. So we're going to head back the other way and try again. I also like how most of the cars we've been using here have had like 600 or 500, 600 horsepower. This has 398.
I don't know
and it is
why
still faster than most.
I don't know how that is possible. I genuinely don't know. Because it's not exactly the most aerodynamic car.
Yes. Well, it's a bit more aerodynamic than the bricks of muscle cars we've been using. But yeah, it's a little bit confusing. Anyway, on the run back, we were only hitting 195, which confused me. So we kind of came to the conclusion that maybe it was a chase car because we couldn't remember if in the practice runs we'd been using the Porsche to sort of be the slipstreamy car, or whether we'd been using the Venom. So Daniel then swapped cars, jumped back in the Porsche, and we were going to try again and see if this sort of changed things. Now, in reality, yes, it would change, because a different car would punch a slightly different sort of hole in the air. So yeah, as the sort of resistance that gain, well, that's terrible English. The hole in the air is different shaped, so the sort of air resistance on the car that's chasing it would be different. In theory, would Forza be that detailed? We highly doubted it.
Yeah, we didn't really know. It was a hit and miss because we never tried
very
it
high
before.
level.
Yeah.
But sure enough, behind the Porsche, we got up to 197 on the second attempt with it, which kind of got us thinking, what would be the best car to sort of follow. What would create the biggest hole in the air to sort of give us the biggest advantage as the chase car? Well, it would be a Transit, wouldn't it? It's the sort of size of a small house. So yeah, we're going to use a Transit. Now that Transit, you upgraded it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was insane. It's got the Ford V8 supercar engine in it, and it was probably more uncontrollable than like the muscle cars because of the fact I think it was rear-wheel drive because I didn't convert to four-wheel drive because that would have made it too high a P. I don't know, but it was so uncontrollable because I couldn't see anything in the rearview mirror because it was just like, I don't know why, but for some reason I couldn't see anything in the rearview mirror, whatever was obscuring it or something. But
the Transit has a dodgy one.
Yeah, and it was so difficult and also because it's slower than the Hennessy or the Porsche, I had to be so much more careful with how fast I was going because I couldn't just pull away like I could in the Porsche.
Yeah, with the likes of the Porsche, if I was closing up a little bit too fast, you could just boot it in whatever gear and it would pull away. With this, you can't.
No, I can't.
It's fast, but it's not.
At one
that
point, you were
fast.
accelerating quicker than me.
Look at the speed. We're going to do it. It's going to be. There we go.
That's it.
201.
We have got an Acura to 200, a four-door C-class saloon car.
Four-door saloon car in C-class has hit 201 miles an hour. Yeah, you may have hit the wall and it's now spinning away down the track. I was astonished by that, and we're also very surprised at the difference it makes between the cars. The difference.
We never thought Forza was that detailed.
Drag reduction. No, we genuinely didn't. You're going to do some celebratory donuts in the Transit.
And, trying to.
So, we move on to a Dodge Daytona. This one, I saw this suggested in the comments for last time we tried this, because it's a very aerodynamical car. Now, one of the problems with following the Transit, I hope you saw it there, it was rather quick, is it's very hard to see anything. Because basically the Transit fills your entire screen, so I kind of forgot where the corner was on that attempt. We're going to have another go. The Transit was having difficulties getting around the corner at the bottom, so we kind of gave up going in that direction.
Yeah.
And we're going to keep running this way. Now, as you can see, this Daytona on its own was only hitting about 180, but behind the Transit, it's getting nearly done it. Come on, we've got like 2 more miles an hour to go. Now, things go a little bit skew with some lag. You will see in a second there. The lag actually kind of killed it. However, when I was looking at the telemetry, you actually see that it ticks over to 200 miles an hour. If we just rewind it a little bit, just before the lag spike hits, there.
Oh, there you go.
A little bit. And wait for it. Come on, there it is. Look, see, 200 miles an hour. In fact, I think it was a very high 200 mile an hour because sometimes it says it was 201. So the Daytona did it as well.
That's impressive.
That was a huge gain in speed as well between the standard car and that. I think it's to do with that wing on the back of that damn Daytona creates so much drag that by putting it behind something kind of reduces the drag and actually allows it to get to a decent top speed. But seeing as the silly lag spike occurred, we wanted to try again and see if we could get it to properly to 200, but then it happened again with some lag. So
it was all broke. Probably my fault in the first place because I looked ahead because I was going off the track a little bit. I looked behind, I saw it was closing up quite a bit, a little bit quick. So I put my foot down, nothing happened. It literally just went no, and I just saw him, he just plowed into the back of me, and then lag occurred, and I'd blame my internet.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, if in doubt, blame the internet. So, having seen how fast these cars were getting behind the Transit, I then went off and built one of these Shelby Mustang CJ. What are they called? I've got to find the name quickly.
I just saw they were
completely forgotten. Well, the Shelby GT500 428 CJ. There we go. I do remember car names. Now, the one that I built is, again, I believe it is supercharged. However, because I didn't really know much about gearboxes, I just stuck the 6-speed, the race transmission in it. So this isn't quite the same as the one that the guy sent us. However, again, it has got the Shelby Cobra engine in it. It's 425 PI. I don't think this has any handling upgrades, as you can see. It is wobbling all over the place. I missed that Daytona and Acura. They were nice to drive. This thing wasn't easy. It's not as bad as Chevel. Chevel is by far the worst of the cars.
Just had no steering. It might as well. It would have been better with no steering wheel at all. So.
Yeah, but as you can see, we hit 202, and it's still climbing. This was a real problem for the Transit. This Shelby was actually pretty much as fast as it.
Yeah, at one point it was accelerating quicker.
Yeah, it hit 206 before we kind of ended up scraping against the wall. Because again, I couldn't see where that corner was.
Yeah, we were bloody impressed with it.
That Transit is S-Class, I think it was.
Yeah, it was S-Class, yeah.
And it hits 208 miles an hour. The C-Class Shelby hit 206.
Yeah.
And between, I think it was 190 and 200, the Shelby was actually quicker standard transit, which was giving it some concerns.
It required more concentration.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. It looks easy, just follow a car down a straight, but there's a lot more involved than that. So, there we go. We have done it.
We have done it.
We have got some C-Class cars to 200 miles an hour. In fact, we got to 206. Yes, it is a little bit cheaty by slipstreaming, but
still
you're never going to do it.
The car did it. We didn't push it or anything. It was totally on its own power. So
yeah, it did it with its own power. All we did is minimise a bit of air resistance.
We helped it.
So yeah, I'm really amazed that we've done that. However, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As ever, if you have challenges you would like to see us do, please do leave them in the comment section. We will have a look through and we will pick our favourites, and they will probably be in a video at some point. However, until next time, goodbye.